Guys, welcome back to Relaxed Running. Today I'm going to be taking you through 5 of the best running podcasts out there to keep you entertained and educated on the subject of running. Well, with a running podcast of our own, it wouldn't be right to jump over the Relaxed Running podcast. This is a weekly show which is hosted by myself, where I speak to the best athletes, coaches, and those associated with the sport that are going around in the world. So we have Olympians and Olympic coaches and exercise physiologists, physiotherapists. We have the who's who in the world of distance running. So a fairly relaxed conversation with myself and the guest. The goal of this one is to unpack some of the most helpful tools and techniques that we can apply to our own running, which is going to eliminate so much of the guesswork that comes. If you want to get a little bit of a feel for it, this is roughly what it sounds like. So I reckon 2 flexibility classes is going to be a really beneficial place to start. Now, if you, regardless of where you are, if you're still competing, if you've still got goals as a distance runner, this is one area that I can't encourage you enough. Most of the episodes go for about an hour, give or take a little bit. So if you haven't checked out the Relaxed Running podcast yet, do yourself a favor, jump on over and check it out. Now, the second show, and I'm being loyal to my Aussie mates here because the second show is another Australian-based podcast, a really popular running podcast by the name of Inside Running Podcast. In this chat, you have 3 marathon runners, Brady Threffel, Bradley Croker, and Julian Spence, talking to start with for about the first hour about all of their training, what they've done on each day, what's working, what's not, challenges they've been through, breakthroughs that they've had. There's also a good amount of banter in there amongst them, a really good established friendship group, super popular show, and really good insight into just what it takes to be a really good marathon runner. They always finish the show, or most of the time they finish a show with an interview with an elite Australian runner or coach. Really good episode, good value, good fun. Encourage you to check it out. If you haven't heard of it yet, have a little listen to the boys in action.
So basically just extending how long and how the volume and the duration at race pace.
Yeah, I did something similar, but it was 400.
The third show that I'm going to recommend to you is hosted by the American record holder and all-round gun of a bloke, Ryan Hall. It's called the Run Free Podcast. And in this show, not only do they have conversations with elite athletes and coaches, they also tap in a little more to the mindset that goes into performance. I love Ryan's openness. I love his ability to share his struggles, his commitment, just the trials and tribulations that come with a sport like distance running. You can't learn personally from too many better marathon runners than a bloke like Ryan Hall. So if you're interested in establishing, especially your marathon mindset and your marathon training, just learning a little bit more about what it takes to become an elite level athlete, check out the Run Free podcast with Ryan Hall.
Story, and this was the first time I met him, was he was helping us out on long run. I give him my sweet bike, the sweetest bike I have, which hasn't been serviced in like 15 years. So not that sweet of a bike, as you can imagine. And Ron's out helping you on your long run, and he gets about...
All right, the 4th podcast I'm going to recommend as a fan of distance running podcasts is the Trail Runner Nation podcast. Now, in this particular show, it has been established. It's gone around for a while. It's done about 520 episodes, and the coaches and hosts of this show do a fantastic job of not only sharing helpful information with you around gear and training and diet and recovery and mindset and everything else that goes along with running. Well, they also have an Ask the Coaches Your Specific Questions. So they've done a fantastic job of building a community, building a really established foundation, and just sharing confidently the information that goes into making you and me a more effective runner. Now, don't be misled by the name. It is not aimed directly at trail runners. I think so much of the information crosses over to every realm of distance running. So Trail Runner Nation is a really good one for you to check it out. If you haven't heard it yet, have a little sample just here before you jump on over and subscribe.
Us from an aerobic standpoint, maybe we can get up the hills faster. Maybe we can run the flats faster. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
We can eat more on the aid station table, that's for sure.
There you go. There you go.
You know, usually, I would say most...
And guys, to round out the top 5, I'm going to leave you with the Strength Running podcast, which is hosted by Jason Fitzgerald. Now, this show's been around for a little while and often ranked as the top running podcast in the United States. He, like a number of the other podcasts I've mentioned, taps into the minds of experts in the field just to try and draw out that information that we, the listener, can apply to our own running, to skip over so much of the guesswork and improve our running with actual, simple, practical techniques. I think he's done a fantastic job of showing his commitment to the podcast, showing his commitment to the cause, and he's got a really strong following. So if you haven't heard of this podcast yet, I'll leave you with a little sample, and then after that, if you want to go and hit subscribe, I encourage you to do that.
Well, my next question is going to be, tell me a little bit more about your strength training. What kind of strength work have you done consistently over the last 6 months to a year?
Well, if we go back to about a year, I did your high performance.
With only 5 recommendations here, guys, there is no doubt I've missed out on a number of your favorite running podcasts. So if I haven't named it, make sure you leave recommendations down in the comments below for everyone else to go and check out. We've got videos coming out on a Wednesday, on a Sunday here at Relax Running on all things running improvement. So regardless of what distance you're training for or your skill level, make sure you hit subscribe and stick around so you can be notified on our latest videos. If you'd like more from Relax Running, jump over to relaxrunning.com.